walking dogs are walking on the grass.
The dogs are walking on the grass.
In the woods. Mm-hmm. And the ugly duckling came behind. And they picked on him because he was different.
Mm-hmm.
And,
That's that. No, that's really detailed.
yeah. And as he walked along, one day he looked in the river, spring lake, and there he saw a reflection of the beautiful swan.
Mm-hmm.
And he was no longer the ugly duckling.
Mm-hmm.
And he made friends with the other swans.
That's cool. I'm going to get you to tell her again. We'll just let Debbie and Bill finish their journey. And what was the weather like?
Windy and cold. And the ugly duckling was cold.
Mm. So when you tell it again in a minute to everybody, describe all that detail. It was beautiful, really beautiful. Well done. Go for it.
The ugly duckling. There was once an ugly duckling who followed the other ducklings, and he was left behind as they didn't look at him as the same as them. And one day they went through the woods in the grass, and he followed behind, and he felt lonely, and the weather was wet and cold, and he was shivering, and they went towards the lake, and he looked in the lake and saw a reflection of the beautiful swan, and he wasn't any ugly duckling anymore.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Thank you.
Hansel and Gretel lived with their father and stepmother, and they went out into the forest, and so they could find Hansel and Gretel, so they could find their way back. They dropped breadcrumbs so they could find their way back. They went deeper into the forest, and they were getting lost, so they tried to find their way back, and the birds had ate the breadcrumbs, and they stumbled across a cottage made of chocolate brick, which they saw leave. They were excited, and they went inside, and there was this witch, and she had a boiling point, and she was going to boil them and eat them in a stew. And Gretel pushed her in and killed her, and she melted. And they left the cottage, and they found some treasure. And they went to go on the way home, and they found their stepmother, wicked stepmother, had died, and they lived happily ever after with their father, and they never went hungry again.
Princess and the Pea. Once upon a time there was a prince who wanted to marry a real princess. He started travelling the world to find this real princess, and he was looking all over. He couldn't find one. There was some of them were just too fat, some of them were too thin, some of them were just chasing after him, and he just knew they weren't real princesses. So he was quite distraught about this, and he was getting quite weary, and he went back to the castle and told the queen and the king that he couldn't find a real princess, and the whole castle was very sad about this. But then that night there was a terrible storm. The rain was coming down, and the thunder and lightning like it had never done before. And suddenly there was a knock at the door, and they were quite alarmed by this, and they went to the door, and there, standing there, was a beautiful woman, and she was absolutely drenched. There was water coming out of her shoes. She had water dripping down her face, and all she could say was, "I am a real princess." Well, they couldn't believe what they were hearing, really. They brought the lady inside, and they gave her a towel to wipe her face. And the Queen says, "Right, I know what to do to find out whether this lady is a real princess or not. I'll put a pea in the bed." So that's what she did. She put a pea in the bed with 20 mattresses on top. And she said to the lady to stay the night. So she stayed the night, and that night she was tossing and turning, and she was getting bruises all over her body. And in the morning, the Queen asked whether she'd had a good night's sleep, and the lady said, "I've had a terrible night. I'm black and blue all over." And then from that time, the Queen was delighted because they'd found that she was indeed a real princess, because she felt the pea through all the mattresses, and she was that tender. So the whole of the castle was overjoyed, and the pea was kept in a box in the museum. And if you don't believe me, you can go and see for yourself.
Once upon a time, there were 3 pigs. Tom, Dick and Harry. And their arch enemy was Wolfie the wolf. So one day Tom thought of building a house. And he had an idea because he saw this man carrying a lot of straw. So he decided to build a house with straw. Dick decided to build his house with sticks, and Harry decided to build his with bricks. But watching these piglets was Wolfie the wolf, and he come to Tom, and he decided to try and blow his house down. And he said, "Tom, I'm going to try and blow your house down. I'm going to huff and I'm going to puff and I'm going to blow your house in." And he huffed and he puffed and he blew his house in. And the little piglet ran away. So then he went to Dick's house. That was made of sticks. And he said to Dick, "I'm going to huff, I'm going to puff, I'm going to blow your house in." And he huffed and he puffed and he blew his house in. And the little piglet ran away. And then he went to Harry's. And it was all a nice bricked house. The roof was done lovely. A nice chimney. Everything was perfect. So he's looking round his house and he saw Harry and he said, "I'm going to huff, I'm going to puff and blow your house in." So he huffed and he puffed and he couldn't blow his house in. So what he decided to do, he was going to get a ladder up onto the roof and go into the chimney. So he climbed the roof and he got into the chimney and he was scrambling down. And he couldn't get his grip. So he's scrambling down and he's going quicker and quicker. And he noticed at the bottom of the chimney there was like a cauldron of hot water. And all of a sudden he fell into this cauldron of hot water. And he jumped out and he said, "Oh, good God," he said, "Good God," he said, "that's hot, it's not good." And with that, all the little pigs come back to Harry's house. And he said, "Well, we can't go on living like this." He said, "We better make friends, because there's no way I can beat you." And they all lived happy ever after.
I want to ask you to do it again, Bill, and do it without the paper, because I think you know it really well now. Do you want to give that a go? Just put the paper down and do it like you're telling us. Turn around and tell Moran the story by looking at her. See?
Oh, I've got to look at Moran. She's so handsome now with her hair all back like that.
Yeah.
We're all very pleased for her.
Yeah.
And she looks lovely, doesn't she? Once upon a time, there was 3 pigs. Tom, Dick and Harry. And their arch enemy was Wolfie the Wolf. So Tom, Dick and Harry, they was going to make 3 houses. So he said, "Look, I'm going to huff and I'm going to puff and I'm going to blow your house in." He huffed and he puffed. And he blew. And he blew. And he blew. He couldn't do anything. So with that, he thought he was being crafty. Got a ladder round the back. Went up the roof. Said, I'll get in this way. So the chimney was big enough for him to get down the chimney. And as he was going down the chimney, he was sort of losing his grip. And he noticed at the bottom of the chimney there was a cauldron of hot water. And he thought, "God, what am I going to do here?" Next minute, plop, he was in the hot water, in the cauldron of water. He jumped out quick. And he's taken aback and he was so shocked. He said, "Oh." He said, "We can't go on living like this." In the meantime, the 2 other little piglets had joined Harry. And he said, "Shall we sit down and have a cup of tea and have some bacon?" He said, "Because we can't go on like this, we'll have to live in harmony." So that's what they did. They decided to live happily ever after.
Well done.
Well, it could be everything, other little things as well, see, but, it changes every time, doesn't it?